This is your 20-minute podcast, where we do our best to give you useful information in 20 minutes or less. Today's podcast is brought to you by Audible. Get a free audiobook download and 30-day free trial at audibletrial.com/your 20-minute podcast. Over 180,000 titles to choose from for your iPhone, Android, Kindle, or MP3 player. Now, here's your host, David Brower.
Welcome back to your 20-minute podcast with David Brower, and our special guest today is Casey Stanton, former professor of marketing at Tulane University in New Orleans and a trusted authority in the field of marketing. And you are on the road as we speak, right?
Yeah. Hey, David. Good to be here. And yes, absolutely, I am. Back in May, I left my post at Tulane, where I was a adjunct professor of marketing, and hit the road full-time with my fiance and our mutt, our dog Pepper, and now we're traveling for 2 years to see if we can find a new home, a new place to live.
Good for you. Good for you. One of the things that caught my attention on your profile was just your website, Tech Guy Who Gets Marketing.
Yeah.
Right? So tell us about that. What's that mean?
Sure. So our business is Tech Guys Who Get Marketing, and Tech Guys is a really interesting team. So typically what happens when a business owner wants to do something with technology, they want to build a CRM, they want to build some kind of business intelligence tool so they can see reports. They want to leverage technology as a benefit in the organization. What they typically do is they hire someone in-house, and that person, I always look at them as being poets. These tech people are so good at writing code, they're so good at solving complex problems, and they solve it in the most poetic way possible. The least amount of complexity, the least API calls.
Right.
Just as nice and pretty as possible. The problem is that they don't actually look to the business implications of the technology. So where a good technologist who is just concerned about technology would say, ooh, let's do it this way, Tech Guys Who Get Marketing say, it's okay that it's a little inefficient, or we have double the API calls, or it's a little clunky on the back end, like on the systems integration side, because the front end is a better customer interface, because it delivers more value to the customer. It generates a lower cost per sale, longer lifetime value of a customer. So it really thinks through the marketing and business aspects of technology.
So you're the big picture guy.
Yeah.
I mean, you get it from both sides of the fence and bring it all together to work together, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So in Tech Guys, we really have two major disciplines. We've got marketing and we've got technology. Some of our clients come in marketing heavy. They're great, smart marketers, and they need technology that works. So we're talking about one-click upsells. We're talking, our team actually, Mike, our CEO, wrote the first one-click upsell code and was doing installs of it for $10,000 a pop years ago. Now that's technology that's already integrated in a lot of different platforms. So we were really on the cutting edge there.
Absolutely. How do you stay ahead of that? How do you stay ahead of technology for the next latest, greatest thing that's going to help your customers?
That's a great question. So I think the best answer is our team is hungry, and we don't really sell any commodity. We don't really sell anything that we've sold before. Every new sales opportunity is something new for us to discover a new and better way to do things. So we're always looking at new tech. We send emails to the entire team, or we're on Slack, and we use the Slack channel for it. And we're just always discussing new things that are coming out. When Amazon Chime came out earlier this week, our whole team got on it and we tested it out. So we're always testing and playing, and it's just like this insatiable curiosity of our techs specifically and our marketers that allow us just to play with new things and see what works.
How fun. Absolutely. I mean, if your tech guys are having fun, your marketing guys are having fun, and people like you that can put everything together, that's a unique opportunity, it sounds like.
Yeah, absolutely. And my business coach, Dan Sullivan, he said, you created the game, so don't create rules that allow you to lose. And
love that.
Right? So we're entrepreneurs. At the end of the day, we are all entrepreneurs, and we're all a little weird, and we have the things that we like. So the rules that we created are, let's have fun. Let's make sure the things that we're doing are new and different and exciting. Now we're always pushing the envelope of what's possible. We just launched a campaign for a client, and we thought we were going to hit a home run on it. And I'll tell you, out of the gates, we did not do very well. And it was a great learning opportunity. It was a big risk to take. And now we're refining it. And over the course of the refinement, now it's starting to produce well. So what we launched with didn't work, but what we refined to is working better than their previous marketing control.
And you had a client, it sounds like, who had complete faith and trust in you because he didn't walk away.
Yeah, and risk tolerance is really interesting. So when you start a business, you can grow it up to the ceiling of complexity that other entrepreneurs have grown their business to. But if you want to break through that ceiling of complexity, you have to try new and different things. So we kind of do the thinking and say, all right, David, in order to do this, here's an idea that we think, and it's the best idea that we can come up with, and here's the minimum viable product. We've got a guy on our team who loves these prototypes. He's even calling it a confident prototype, where he helps you produce the smallest, leanest way to launch a new technology implementation. And it's through those iterations and through that testing and looking at the data that allows our clients, some of our clients to be have small businesses that are extremely profitable. People that are doing 7 figures take home from a 3-person team. That kind of thing.
Oh my gosh.
Right.
That puts a smile on your face, doesn't it?
Absolutely. It's a fun game to play, right?
So how do you keep your customers engaged to keep them around for life? I mean, keep them in for the long haul?
Yeah, that's a great question. So we have a tenet in our business at Tech Guys, which is customers for life. And really what that means is we take the responsibility to figure out how to make them more successful. Now, most of our clients have some strength and some discipline. Some of them are, let's just say, marketers, right? They might just come with the discipline of marketing.
Sure.
So they're selling marketing products, potentially. Others are selling fitness products. Others are selling negotiation strategies. Others are selling education products. So all sorts of different things. And they're really good at producing the content or doing one thing, typically. And they have a team to surround them to do some of these other things. But they're leading and they're leading their business and giving direction. We take a level of ownership where we step in and say, just recently I had a call with a client, and I said, oh, hey, you've got X number of members, and it looks like your current average membership length is about 4 months. I've got some ideas to increase that to maybe 4.5 or 5 months. Multiply that by what you're paying, or members pay you, etc. I think that this is the potential value of that. Can you greenlight this proposal? And it's going to cost this fraction of the return. And
wow,
they'll look at the numbers and come back and be like, yeah, like there's no downside to trying, and the upside is typically huge.
That's fabulous. I love that. I love that approach. So how do new businesses or businesses in general, really, how do they find you? How do they reach out to you? And why should they?
Sure. So Tech Guys Who Get Marketing.com is the website, or if that's too long, which it absolutely is, you can also go to the website techguys.co. That's techguys.co, and that'll take you over to our site. And we've got a couple of different things that we do that I think are really unique. So we've got direct response designers and marketers. These are the designers. We've got a designer on our team, our senior designer, Tom. When he makes a design for a client, it's better. It produces more sales through the design effort than the designs that are there. He can just look at it,
wow,
redesign it, not change a word on the page, but just change the way it looks, change the way that the user interacts with it. And that level of like UX, UI dramatically increases conversion. So that's one great talent that we have. We've got marketers who are driving traffic and ideating new strategies. That's huge, coming up with what's the right approach to solve the problem. Our technologists, I think, are some of the best in the business, and they're certified across the board in a number of different platforms. But there's like Salesforce and Infusionsoft and Office Autopilot and custom development of different CRMs and these kind of things. The tech team is well versed in that. And then we have project managers, and they're driving the project to completion. We don't bill for our project management time. That's there just to push the project through as quickly as possible. So that's the tech guy side, and it's awesome. I really think that we're the best custom development team for organizations that are doing at least $250,000 a year in business. I'll say that our typical client is doing around $1 million, but that's kind of our sweet spot where we can step in and help. And we're really offsetting the capabilities inside of an organization. We're not in there to steal some developer's job. We're coming in and saying, hey, you're the developer. We're going to build it, and then we want you to maintain it. So we'll build it, and then we'll step out. And that's a really great experience.
So do you help them build the staff to be able to break the cord from you?
Yeah, interesting question. So the Tech Guys business model in general, which we call Tech Guys Implementation, is billed at $195 an hour. And that's just what it is. We custom quote projects, we do the work, and then we step out. Now, what can happen is the organization actually needs someone to help them along the way. They need someone that's going to chief a strategy, hold them to it, make sure that they're pivoting correctly when new technologies come out, when there's a desire to launch a new product or whatever. And in that situation, we created a company called Engaged Officers. And you can look at Engaged Officers as an outsourced chief technology officer and chief marketing officer. And that's a great resource for people who want to know the right thing to do, know when to do it, and to get their team to have the capabilities to do it. So at EO, Engaged Officers, we help our clients find the right people. Sometimes the right person is tech guys. Sometimes the right team to do it is tech guys because it's quick and it's easy and it's done right. But if you want that ongoing capability in your organization, we developed EO, Engaged Officers, to support that long term. So we work with clients for 90-day commitments, and that's been going really well.
What a fascinating idea. I love that.
Yeah,
it sounds so, I hate to use the cliche, but it really does sound so cutting edge. I haven't heard of anybody doing it that way.
Yeah, and the reason that we're doing it is, the reason that the Engaged Officers came about was our clients would come to us at Tech Guys with a problem, and they would have us solve the problem. And then they would go and make small decisions that were bad. Right? They would make a tiny decision that was bad. Ooh, let's do this video player instead of that. Oh, let's build it on this. Let's use this server or this hosting company. Or let's go take on this software for our CRM. And when they make those decisions, they're typically making them because there's a really effective salesperson on the other side who has a commission to make from it.
Yep.
And that person isn't vying for the entrepreneur's success. Instead, they're vying for their own pocketbook, and you can't blame them.
Well, no, that's their job description. But when you have that business in your fold, in your hand, that you're part of the team. They're part of the team. It's not a separate road. You're there working together.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it makes all the difference as far as confidence is concerned. We've had clients, some big clients doing multiple millions a year who had their technology in an utter mess. And it's because they would continue to point to someone and say, I want you to build the site. Okay, I want you to build this one. And they would get all these fractured pieces of technology, and they would get themselves to a position where they were compromised, where they were paying way too much for their servers because they were disjointed and they had a dozen different accounts. And they couldn't manage it. And one site would get infected and would cross-infect another one, and they couldn't figure out how. So we can step in and we can solve that. Now, Engaged Officers helps with that ongoing. We're not incentivized for you to buy a specific piece of software. We mindfully have no affiliate relationships. We don't want to make money on convincing you to choose a certain technology. We just want your business to be successful so that you continue working with us.
What a fabulous idea. Good for you. And how long have you been involved with this, with the Tech Guy marketing?
Sure. So Tech Guys Who Get Marketing was founded by Mike Klein. He was living down in Florida, and he pulled together some of his buddies from college, which were down in Florida, and then from his hometown in Indiana. And I was actually on a date in Ann Arbor, Michigan at the 8 Ball Bar, really seedy, kind of trashy bar. And I bumped into Mike, and we were both drinking out of pitchers of Pabst Blue Ribbon, and we kind of hit it off. And this must have been 7 years ago, 8 years ago.
Wow.
And we hit it off from there, and I joined in with Mike and became the chief marketing officer. And then through Mike's relationships and really Mike's great vision, that's one thing that I love about him. He calls himself a mechanic. And today, he's actually in the British Virgin Islands on top of one of the last boats from Pearl Harbor that was bombed, that was just kind of sitting there. He purchased it, and he's building a Kraken on it. So he's sculpting a Kraken out of steel and mesh, and then they're going to go.
Oh my!
They're going to go sink this historic relic and make it a dive site. It's absolutely surreal. So that's the kind of vision Mike has. He can think of these wacky, weird things, and he's done it in such a way that he's having a lot of fun out of it. Other people are going to get enjoyment out of it. He's going to be able to break even on it. It's absolutely wild. So, yeah.
Good for him. That's called a PBR success story, is what that is.
What does that stand for?
Pabst Blue Ribbon.
Oh, Pabst Blue Ribbon. Oh, I got you. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
So you've got a book coming out called Functional Marketing. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so I'm working on a book right now called Functional Marketing, and And as you can kind of tell, my passion here is around helping people make the right decisions. And typically in the marketing world, and that's really where I exist. And my colleague Bill Ferrante, he's the technologist that I've paired with at Engaged Officers. So what we notice is that people have a tactic. They go and pick one tactic. They go say, all right, I need to go spend $1,000 a day on Facebook or $1,000 a month on Facebook. Or they say, all right, I'm going to be the person that does direct mail, or I'm the person that's going to do YouTube videos. And they identify these tactics and try to wrap a business around it, which is not the way a business should really be understood or managed. So I think back to Peter Drucker saying the point of a business is to get and keep a customer. And that's the most important thing at the end of the day, to get and to keep the customer. So functional marketing is my approach to marketing, which says, how do we get and keep that customer? What's the most important thing in the business? So I do 3 distinct phases. I look at the history of the business. And in that, I'm looking at what are the assets in the team? Who's in the team? What are their capabilities? What's their capacity? I look at what are the other assets in the business, like mailing lists or favors owed or past marketing campaigns. I've got a past marketing campaign snapshot that clients fill out, and I get caught up with all that they're doing and have done and what was successful and what wasn't and why. And get a better understanding of the foundation of the business. Do some due diligence then around their competition. What are they doing? And then at that point, the functional marketing approach says, you know where the business is, let's get creative. And the creative aspect is, let's grow something. So I've identified 4 key areas for growth in any business. We either need to increase the number of people that are educated that were in the marketplace. We need to acquire them. We need to then retain them. And then we need them to refer their friends and family. Pretty simple. Educate, acquire, retain, refer.
Pretty simple, yeah.
Or marketing issue. We start at about $10,000. That's our starting package. They can go over to techguys.co. That's techguys.co. And if they want to learn more about Engaged Officers, which is that outsourced CMO, CTO consultancy, you can check that out over at engagedofficers.com. And then lastly, I have a personal daily email that I send out. And this is kind of my approach to marketing and what I'm seeing. And it's kind of an over my shoulder. And you can go sign up for that if you'd like. It's a free email over at caseystanton.com.
And that's Stanton.
Yep, Casey with a C, CASEYSTANTON. Yeah, thank you.
All right, man. Well, congratulations on everything you've done so far. And obviously, the world is your oyster, as they like to say. So you're going to travel around for a couple of years, get married along the way, and continue to grow your business and help people grow theirs, right?
Yeah, that's the plan. So thank you so much for having me, David. I appreciate it.
All right, man. Really enjoyed it a lot. Folks, this has been your 20-minute podcast with David Brower and our special guest, Casey Stanton. And be sure to reach out to him at caseystanton.com. And continued success to you, man.
Thank you. Take care.
Be sure to follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/your 20-minute podcast.
Until next time, don't forget to download your free audiobook at audibletrial.com/your 20-minute podcast. That's audibletrial.com/your 20-minute podcast for your free audiobook. And thanks for listening to your 20-minute podcast with David Brower.